All right, guys. So, I have been very good about just not really going on Twitter anymore. Honestly, when I realized that most of Twitter is bots, or I don't know if it's most, but a lot of Twitter is just bots, I decided, you know what? It's not like it was ever healthy to go on Twitter and argue with people, but at least you were like definitely arguing with people like 5 years ago. Now, now just thinking about the idea of wasting my life arguing with a bot kind of makes me want to jump off of a ravine in Minecraft. So, anyways, I say all that to say is I haven't really looked at the Superman controversy with the new scene. I've heard that there's a controversy with the sneak peek. I don't know exactly what people's problems with it are. So I figured I would just watch Ben Shapiro talk about it. I don't know. Well, obviously he thinks it looks bad. Um, I Will he find some way to make it about wokeness? Who knows? Anyways, let's just watch it.
He's screaming in pain as Krypto jumps on him. Okay, I don't see the purpose of this. 2 thumbs down. Very disappointed. Ugh. And meanwhile, in lighter news.
What? You don't see the purpose of it? You don't see the purpose of... Assuming he's seen the entire scene and that isn't a first-time reaction. The purpose of it is to show Superman in pain, show how Krypto is like strong enough to hurt Superman, and then the scene later goes on to show the fact that, you know, Superman has to go to the Fortress of Solitude in order to get healed. And the purpose of all of that is to show that Superman is presumably vulnerable to whether it be kryptonite or maybe there are forces on Earth that can hurt him. I mean, I feel like the purpose of all of this is obvious, but I don't know.
News. In cultural news. I understand. The markets are putting me in a bad mood. Also, I want President Trump's plans to succeed, as I've said 1,000 times here on the show. President Trump is doing too much important work for all of it to be waylaid by bad things happening. And so I'm in a bit of a bad mood, I'll be honest with you. But I decided to do something that put me in an even worse mood, and that was I watched the new preview for Superman that was put out by James Gunn. Now, as y'all know, not a huge James Gunn fan. Finding Guardians of the Galaxy when it's all sort of like ridiculous humor and gonzo humor. People unsurfaced his old tweets that were kind of jokey, ugly tweets in early days of Twitter. James Gunn, based on those old tweets, was actually fired by Marvel. And I will say that I publicly supported the idea that he should be rehired because you shouldn't cancel people based on jokes that they made back when Twitter was a jokier place. And now he's directing the new Superman movie. And we can watch this preview together. It sucks. It's bad. I hate to break it to you. It's terrible. Here we go. So, for those who can't see, Superman is wounded and he is lying on the snow. The original preview, it just showed at this point Krypto the dog arriving, but this preview is much longer. Here comes Krypto. He whistles for Krypto, the super dog. So Krypto arrives, and then Krypto proceeds to, for well over a minute, beat the living hell out of Superman. He's screaming in pain as Krypto jumps on him. And continues to nudge him, bite him. Okay, I don't see the purpose of this.
Take me home.
It's just like, what? Like, what? So you see the whole thing. What do you mean you don't see the purpose of it? Again, I think it's fine if you don't think it looks good. Maybe you're like, oh, this cinematography is weird. You can watch my trailer reaction to it. I have a bunch of criticisms of like some shots looking very like CGI-ish. I just don't know why you're like, I don't logically see the purpose of this scene. Why would a Krypto be excited to see, or what? Sorry, why would a dog be excited to see his owner and jump up on him? I don't understand. This does not logically compute. I am Ben Shapiro. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So this is not dramatic, it's just silly and ridiculous. Okay, and then finally Krypto figures out that he needs to take Superman back to the Fortress of Solitude. Every James Gunn joke is a Monty Python joke, just lasts 3 times too long.
Hey, Papa John's here, and are you hungry? I know I am. Got a great deal
I don't
just for
even
you.
know
It's called Papa Pairings. Get to
So now,
Is the scene even supposed to be like jokey? Or is it more so just to like naturalistically show Krypto being a dog? I feel like you could take it either way, and I don't think you're like a ridiculous person if you do view it as just like a joke. But I personally didn't take the scene as a jokey scene. I don't know that I personally wasn't like watching the scene going like, ha 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 ha, what a humorous situation. Maybe you do a little bit of an, oh, it's a puppy. But I don't know that it was supposed to be a jokey scene. But I don't know.
now Krypto is dragging Superman's prone body through the snow back toward the Fortress of Solitude, which arises from the Arctic. And it's a cool looking Fortress of Solitude, I'll give you that. But don't worry, it gets worse. Once Superman is brought inside, a team of robots, presumably of Kryptonian origin, then starts to handle him, and they have one of the most nonsensical exchanges in any James Gunn movie, which is to say pretty nonsensical.
Superman! I had your
I think I will agree with him
They
here.
pick him up and they're carrying him.
No need to thank us, sir, as we will not appreciate it. We have no consciousness whatsoever. Merely automatons here to serve. Meet Quill. She's new.
He looked at me.
But a healthy dose of yellow sun will have you up and at 'em in no time.
That is just a weird. It's not even that it's a joke, because I remember seeing a lot of people being like, uh-oh, there are going to be jokes in the Superman movie because James Gunn is directing it, and Superman should not have jokes in it. It's like, I don't really agree with that. And I don't know, listen, my touchstones for Superman, recently at least, I've been trying to get to know the character a bit better, is I've been watching like Smallville, my adventures with Superman, but I don't really read the comics. Still haven't watched the Richard Donner movies. Oh, and I've also watched the Henry Cavill stuff as well. But it's like, in watching like Smallville, it's like, no, should there not be is Smallville not a good representation of Superman? Because there's a lot of humor in that show. There's a lot of humor in My Adventures with Superman, which I really love. I don't know. I'm not saying that it should or shouldn't be, I'm not saying that it should be like James Gunn type humor. I can understand not wanting that. But to be fair, I have not seen like a James Gunn necessarily like James Gunn-y humor in any of the Superman stuff that I've seen so far, right? Like I haven't seen like super raunchy stuff. I haven't seen like super aggressive stuff, like characters yelling at each other and then calming down after yelling. I don't know, like traditional like aggressive James Gunn type humor. I haven't actually seen a ton of that in this yet. To me, this seems more like whimsical, what Superman should be. I don't know. People can let me know what they think. Oh, sorry, but my problem with that exchange between the robots is that it's just a contradiction. It's like one robot is like, we are emotionless automatons. We will not appreciate your graciousness, or whatever the fuck he said. And then like right after that, the other robot immediately is just like, oh, I do appreciate you, Superman. Oh my God, he looked at me. It's like, what? It's just weird. I don't know why you're contradicting yourself immediately after. But maybe there's more context in the movie that makes it make more sense. Maybe that robot is a part of a new like generation of robots that have adapted to what Superman is like. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's like the one part of the teaser where I was like, oh, that's weird. Wow. Why?
Okay, and then they're gonna hit Superman with magnifying glass.
See, but I will say, like, all of this stuff I think is sick as hell. Like, I love the almost like retro futurism of the Kryptonian robots. I love that it's just like a big ass like magnifying glass coming together. Like, I love that this DC universe feels fantastical. It doesn't feel like, like Nolan and Snyder did, which I don't hate either. Like, I think anything can be good, just to be clear. But it's not like Snyder or Nolan or even the MCU to a certain extent, where they're like, where it almost feels like our world, right? It feels like if aliens came to our world. It feels like, hey, what if Batman existed in our world? I love that right off the bat. This feels like sci-fi fantasy. It doesn't even feel like our Earth. And to be fair, Fantastic Four looks like it's going to be playing into that as well. So, I dig the vibes of all of this.
All right, and now he's painfully absorbing the sun, which apparently was not available before. So that the sun, which, as well know,
What? What are you talking about? The magnifying glass is making it like it's giving him a higher dose. Listen, I'm not saying that scientifically in the real world. Maybe that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but but clearly within the logic of the universe of the movie, getting him onto that bed and putting the magnifying glass on him is like making the dosage of sunlight higher than just being outside. What is it? It's what? I don't know. Like, does Ben Shapiro, is he just that like dumb? I I don't mean to be mean, but like, what?
Illuminates the Earth, which is the planet we are currently spinning on. Apparently, only the magnifying glass could make Superman better. And we'll notice the obvious.
But doesn't that make sense though? Like, if you put a magnifying glass on an ant, doesn't that eventually burn the ant? Isn't that a thing? I don't know, man. Like, it's one thing to be like a logic lord of being like, logically this doesn't make sense, but to do it while also being wrong, while like if your logic lording isn't even really logical, it makes you that much more unlikable. Like, this is just cringe.
Obvious incongruity of one robot explaining that the robots have no feelings, and then the female robot being giggly like a little girl at Superman. The entire attitude here is wrong.
I agree. That part was weird. Maybe it'll be more context in the movie, but I think that one is a good criticism.
The entire attitude is wrong. The gold standard for Superman movies remains the original Superman from the late 70s by Richard Donner. By far the best Superman movie, not close, better than Man of
I still haven't seen it. You know what I mean? Maybe I get scared to watch old movies because I feel like I feel like I'm gonna watch them and be like, yeah, that was a movie. It's like I kind of feel that way about the original Star Wars trilogy. It's like I watched it when I was a teenager and I was like, I'm sure it was revolutionary, but like I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from this in 2014 when I watched it. Snow White, actual dog shit on fire. It's like not even a good movie. I will watch it at some point, maybe even before Superman, but we'll see. Hopefully I like it. You know what I mean? Hopefully I come out of it being like, well, hot diggity damn, Richard Donner, you sexy bastard. You made a good movie that holds up in 2025.
Steel significantly better. Because it gets right the idea that there's a solemnity to Superman, that he is supposed to be the embodiment of America, and then the second half of the movie shifts into a more comic book, humorous mode. And it's very...
What? How are you getting the fact that this Superman isn't doing that based off of this clip? Like, what about this clip is not representative of America? I'm not saying that what we've seen in this clip isn't or is representative of America in any particular way. But what about this clip makes you think that that's not going to be the case?
Right, the idea that there's a solemnity to Superman, that he is supposed to be the embodiment of America, and then the second half of the movie shifts into a more comic book, humorous mode. And it's very, the color palette is very rich and very bright. Man of Steel, they basically desaturate the entire film. So the entire color palette is grayscale and kind of ugly and dark, and the entire character of Superman is much darker. The attitude here is totally wrong. It's just Guardians of the Galaxy and Superman 2, and that ticks me off. It really does, because as a lifelong fan of the Superman...
I just don't even agree with that. Like, I don't see anything about this that's like especially Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't... Like, can someone, like, with words describe what exactly about this is like Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't... Again, like, when I think about traditional James Gunn tone and humor, I think of, like, aggressiveness. I think of, characters, like, yelling at each other and bickering and arguing. Especially in, like, Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, I think of, like, darkness. This, to me, just feels more, like, whimsical and fantastical. Especially like the score. There's something about it that feels like a classic film to me. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that this movie, based off of anything that we've seen so far, feels like a James Gunn movie. Which, yeah, if this movie, if you had like Superman and like if there's a scene where like Superman is like telling Guy Gardner to go fuck himself, and then they start yelling at each other, and then they end up like ending in like a funny way or something like that. Like, if that, if he's like, look at my dick, I'm Superman, if there's like a scene where like, if there was stuff like that in this movie, then I think it has like the potential of being like, ugh, James Gunn, you just couldn't keep it away, could you? But based off of everything that I've seen so far, I just don't think it feels really like a James Gunn movie at all. It does feel like James Gunn is just trying to make a good Superman movie.
Superman brand. Let me just say that it's not that hard to get Superman right. He's supposed to be the embodiment of everything cool and heroic about America, and, of course, he's supposed to be charming as well. That's the whole shtick. So you don't need full-scale James Gunn. He's the same character as essentially Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy, and all the jokes are the same as the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
What have we seen from What have we seen from Superman that makes him like Star-Lord? What? What are you talking about? What? We haven't even really heard Superman talk yet. Just to be clear, like, what? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only lines of dialogue that we've seen from Superman thus far is "Home, take me home," or like "Krypto, home, take me home." What? How can you possibly make the determination that Superman is like Star-Lord? I don't even... This is just so weird.
It's silly and stupid and bad. Do not like. 2 thumbs down. Very disappointed. Ugh. We have more on this in just a moment. First, after more than a year of war, terror, and pain in Israel, the need for security essentials and support for first responders is still critical. On March 20th, a missile sent from the enemy's armored security vehicles is the Fellowship has stood by Israel during time.
This is very bizarre analysis. Like, I don't
Big
even...
ideas.
The gift to bless Israel and her people by visiting Ben for the Fellowship. By that. In other news, Wicked for Good, which is the second part of Wicked, the footage has now been presented to attendees at
Oh my god, I forgot that Ben Shapiro does this. He just like runs out of things to say. Well, I was gonna say, and so he just like starts yapping about something else in order to get to like the 10-minute mark, but he doesn't even get to the 10-minute mark here. What? Okay, whatever. What is he gonna say about Wicked? Does he like Wicked or does he not like Wicked? Is Wicked woke for him? Does he not like the politics of it because it's like about an animal holocaust and he's like, that's woke and bad and left wing? I don't actually know.
CinemaCon in Las Vegas by Universal. So, as I said, I like Wicked Part 1. I'm sure Wicked Part 2 will be good, although I assume they film these things at the same time. I would hope so, because unfortunately both leading actresses seem to be starving themselves into submission. I mean, they really look rough out there. Meanwhile, Spider-Man 4 has been, the release of it has been announced July 31st, 2026. That is 1 week
What
after.
Is he just like a movie pundit? Why is he just talking about movie news? Does he do this regularly?
Christopher Nolan's new film, The Odyssey, which, again, I'm up for anything Christopher Nolan. John Wick 5 has been announced. And I'm hoping that the John Wick 5 is better than John Wick 4. You know, I was a little disappointed in John Wick 4. You can go back and see my YouTube review of it. Obviously, he wasn't dead at the end of John Wick 4. That was obviously clear. There was a joke going around, however. He was supposed to be dead there at his grave. So John Wick 5, John Wick in Hell, was I thought a pretty funny pitch. There's a Naked Gun reboot that is coming. Now, I think it's kind of sad that the Zucker brothers weren't involved in the Naked Gun reboot. They're the ones responsible for the first Naked Gun. There's one funny joke in the Naked Gun reboot, and it's about O.J. Simpson. It's a pretty good joke.
Hi, Daddy. It's me, Frank Jr.
Okay, I actually don't think I'm interested in the rest of this. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the criticisms are just kind of weird. I don't know where you get a lot of it from. Like what? You just become more cringe if you try to logic lord a movie, but then your logic lording doesn't really have much logic to you. Like the idea of us using magnifying glasses to make sunlight more potent. Like, I'm pretty sure that has, like, real-world application to it. Like, that does happen in the real world. And especially if in a sci-fi fantasy movie, that is especially, like, a totally okay thing to do. Yeah, I think it's especially bizarre that he's trying to say that Superman is like Star-Lord, even though we've gotten zero indication of that. I mean, he might be, but... No, we haven't seen anything to say that. But either way, listen, it's one man's opinion against another man's opinion. Whose opinion is right? Well, it's all subjective, isn't it? So let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.